KSN News at 10 begins now.
I have never seen this before. We've never had to evacuate.
Tonight, Kansans coming together to help their neighbors as people are forced to leave their homes, seeking a safe place away from the growing grass fires.
But first, we're following some breaking news tonight. One person is dead after a car accident. It happened at Greenwich and Funston. That is just south of Harry. We have a crew on the way to the scene, and we'll bring you updates as we get them.
Tonight, you can smell the smoke in Wichita, evidence of the dozen fires that are actively burning right now all across the state. Extremely high winds and dry conditions fueling those flames. Now
take a look at this map. Each of these counties saw or are continuing to fight active fires today. 21 of the state's 105 counties had grass fires. That's exactly 20% of Kansas counties.
Federal fire management assistance grants have been approved for Clark, Comanche, Ellsworth, Ford, Ness, and Rooks counties, but more grants could be given.
The Kansas Department of Emergency Management is now requesting firefighters from other states to help fight the flames and relieve the crews that have been working for several days straight.
Tonight, we have our crews across Kansas covering these fires. We start north of Hutchinson, where a large area has been evacuated.
Yeah, here's a look at what that evacuation is. It's from Monroe Street to K61 from 108th to 30th.
Fire crews are on the scene trying to contain the blaze right now, and that's where we find KSN's John Acebus. John, what are firefighters dealing with now?
Let me just tell you, the conditions out here are really bad, and when I was at the scene earlier, they were even worse. You're talking about just really windy, and the air was hot, and it was thick with ash, and it just got in your eyes, and it just made it difficult to see. Visibility was low, it stunk, so really tough conditions for the firefighters out here. Now, they've moved us down here to 43rd. Again, that's 43rd Street right there, and you're not getting anywhere north of there, and for good reason. Let me show you some video. This is what I stumbled upon when I got at the end of Lorraine Street today. This is the raw video of that fire. Growing flames all around the two homes in this area. Again, this is what it looked like at the end of Lorraine Street, and it just seemed that every time the wind blew, the fire would immediately flare up, and it just spread so quickly across trees, grass, or really anything dry in that area. And I really just want to let this video play out for you so you can get just the full effect of how dangerous it is, especially for those crews to be out there and what they're dealing with. There is somewhat of an ominous glow behind me. They're still out there, but immediately when I got here, the flames were devouring anything in its path. And I spoke with a woman. She only lives right down the road from where this was all happening. She's worried about her home and even her mother's home.
I live down the road a ways. I came down here because I was heading into town, and I didn't realize that the fire was right there. If it jumps Plum Street, I'm going to be pretty worried about it. It's scary. It really is.
Do you have family back that way that you're trying to get back to or anything?
My mom's home, so I'll probably go and see what's going to go on. I really hope it doesn't make it that far, though.
And no kidding, as soon as I actually pulled away from her window and got done with that interview, the fire crews, they told me to get out of there. That's how really unsafe and how quickly that was spreading out there. But you've got resources. If you're out of one of these evacuated areas, the Red Cross has set up shelters all through Hutchinson and all throughout the other areas, affected areas in Kansas. Go to KSN.com. We've got those fully listed out so you can know just where you can get exactly what you need. Live in Reno County, John Acebus, KSN News.
All right, stay safe out there, John. And once again, here is a look at the evacuations in Hutch. He mentioned shelters. A shelter has been set up at the USD 309 headquarters. That's in the 4500 block of West 4th Street for any residents who have been forced out of their homes. A cotton gin in Pratt County near Collisant went up in flames late this morning, and it is still burning tonight. Highway 54 was closed for some time while crews worked to get the flames under control. We are told that fire is now under control. However, bales of cotton are still smoldering.
A fire near Dodge City caused some evacuations this afternoon, but those weren't the only flames crews in Ford County were battling. They also worked to extinguish fires in Spearville and Buckland. One person was hurt as a result of the fires, but several structures were destroyed.
There's been one home that we know of for sure. As big as the fires have been, there's probably been some agricultural buildings and probably some smoke damage to other homes too. But at this point, it's just too early. We don't have a count on how many homes have been damaged.
Crews tell KSN that the fire is now mostly out. However, they are working on putting out power poles that have become engulfed. Another area in western Kansas hit by flames was Lane County, just south of Dighton. Crews from at least 5 counties responded to the fire, including Lane, Gray, Hodgman, Ness, and Trigo. At last check, the fire is still burning.
Emergency crews in Rooks County have been busy all day battling a large grass fire there. It started southwest of Stockton, forcing the city to order residents in the south part of the town to evacuate. KSN's Amanda Aguilar has been on scene talking to county officials. She has that out of our Central Kansas newsroom.
I'm on the south side of Stockton. You can see behind me that fire making its way toward the southeast of town. Officials tell me it's traveling across the field. So far, it's traveled across 6 miles in Rooks County.
We've had some structure damage, no injuries and no loss of life. And the battle is continuing. They're trying to get it stopped.
Multiple agencies from Rooks County are fighting this fire. Crews are also getting help from other counties, even the local community.
There's a lot of private individuals, farmers with disc and farmers bringing nurse tanks full of water, oil companies and ag companies bringing water. So we're very grateful for the public support.
The city has ended its evacuation order so residents can return home. Highway 183 is also now open. Rooks County commissioners also signed a disaster declaration in order to get assistance from the state. In Stockton, Amanda Aguilar, KSN News.
A large fire in Seward County is 80% contained. The grass fire northeast of Liberal has destroyed several homes. An emergency shelter has been set up at the Seward County Activity Center for those affected by the fire.
I-70 is now back open after being closed for several hours because of grass fires in the area. This photo was posted by Trooper Todd Hyman 1 mile east of the Wilson exit. The fire is now under control and the interstate has reopened. However, troopers are warning you to watch out for possible flare-ups. Also, people who were evacuated in Wilson have now been allowed to return home.
More blazes fired up in Clark County. Fire crews thought they had it under control, but when the wind picked up, they decided to evacuate residents. The town of Ashland, Englewood, and Protection, Kansas, along with Buffalo and Laverne, Oklahoma, have all been evacuated. Those people are not sure when they can go home or if their home is still standing.
KSN's Chris Arnold has been following the fires in Coldwater. Chris?
We know that 150 people from Ashland, Englewood, and Protection have converged here tonight at the South Central High School cafeteria and gymnasium. And we talked to a 102-year-old lady earlier tonight. She didn't want to go on camera, but she says she's left wondering if her home is still standing. And really, that's the sentiment of many other people here tonight as they're wondering and waiting.
Yeah, did you find him?
Lorraine McGonigal has spent 2 hours wondering if her husband from the Ashland area is okay. He was out checking cattle on the farm, and last she heard, he didn't have cell service.
We don't know. There's a guy out there on the tractor. I imagine that's my husband. But we've got cattle out there, and so they're loose.
The mayor here in Coldwater says they've had a lot of people flood into their town, but they're happy to do their best.
They'll sleep here. There's people who have opened up their homes. They've offered for people if they need a place.
Fire crews have been busy for hours trying to get this under control. KSN has been told the fire's been moving quickly, and the 3 towns in Kansas that were evacuated had an hour or less notice from police to get out.
They've done well to get people evacuated from Ashland and from Protection. They're still over there trying to get people out in the country.
Now, the Red Cross has already fed 150 people here tonight at the South Central High School gym and cafeteria. Now, they did have 40 cots set up already. Pratt is bringing 80 more, hoping to accommodate everyone who needs it. Reporting in Coldwater, Chris Arnold, KSN News.
Thank you, Chris. The wind shows no sign of letting up, which is not good, Mr. Freeman.
It isn't, but we do have some good news. Let me get that out of the way first. The storms have let up. They have left us and moved off to the south and the east. You can see they are completely out of our picture now, so we're done in terms of any storm threat for the rest of the night. The watch has now been canceled for our counties. Let's take a look at that. The watch remains in effect for the far southeastern part of Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma, but all of our viewing area has now been cleared out of that watch, so the threat of storms is done for the night. Now, let's get back to the wind. That's still a problem. Even here at 10 o'clock, we still have a number of places where we have winds sustained at more than 20 miles an hour. Look, Wichita is close at 18, 22-mile-an-hour sustained winds at Ark City and also at Hutch, 25-mile-an-hour sustained winds at Salina, and 21 at Hayes. So we still have a lot of wind out there. And when I come back, I'm going to take you hour by hour through tonight into tomorrow with our Stormcast computer simulation of the atmosphere, and you're going to see a lot more wind coming our way tomorrow. Darren, Steph, I think we may very well be covering grass fires right on through the day tomorrow as well.
Oh, that is not what we wanted to hear.
Boy, it feels like this wind has just been nonstop for a week now.
It does.
Still to come here at 10 o'clock, wildfires can be hard to predict, but once they spark, there is a science to stopping them. We'll go in depth coming up.
Hey, Shockers fans are still pumped about their team's Missouri Valley Conference Championship. We'll take one more look back at Arch Madness as the Shocks prepare for March Madness.